going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into it. Recently, we have experienced mass shootings, and we're going to dedicate this episode to gun violence. So with that being said, we have a special guest joining us. Her name is Taniece Reed. She is a licensed firearms instructor. Pretty Shooters Firearm.
Thank you, ladies. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. So this is definitely a much needed conversation, and I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the world what it is that you do and what you bring it to the table.
All right, hey, how y'all doing? My name's Taniece Reed. As most of y'all see from my Instagram, they call me Pretty Shooter. I'm a licensed firearm instructor. I do Maryland, DC, and Virginia. This is near and dear to my heart because I think more African Americans specifically need to know what is going on and the opportunities that we have that we don't exercise. I certify people to get their license in Maryland. It's called the HQL. We do concealed carry. I help people come up with plans for their house where you need to do safety plans, personal and home. And again, I'm just here to be an advocate. Just call me a facilitator. I want everybody to know the laws, know what you can and what you can't do, so we can try to avoid a lot of the stuff that's been going on that we see with the police brutality and just the violence, period. I tell people all the time when people ask my standpoint, I am pro self-protection, self-defense, I'm for that. But I'm against political violence. And I think we have to make a critical distinction between the two. And I think that what I do can help you guys do that. So I want you guys to check me out. Instagram, Pretty Shooters Firearms, website, www.prettyshootersfirearms.com is fully functional. You pretty much can go on there and look up whatever law, if you're in question, what you need to do when the police pull you over. I'm literally giving the people as much info and as much content as possible to keep y'all safe. That's what it's all about.
Okay, and with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it because I really want to know, what is it going to take for government officials, legislation, to really implement and put stricter laws on gun control? What is it going to take?
I think we've seen in the past, just with all the stuff going on, y'all heard the Don't Leave DC, right? How many people came out to that? Correct. How many people stood to listen to a free show because it was their favorite band, not even really for the cause, but just to say I went? When they have rallies and stuff downtown, when people are marching for people's rights, how many people go? You know, I think that we have always been on the outside of these legislative laws and everything, and people really don't know the laws. Yeah. Yes. When people learn more, when people understand, and when people understand how important this is, don't wait for somebody you know to get shot. Don't wait for something you know to hit close to home for you to really look and say, I don't know this. I think we really got to start from the bottom, but I can tell you, and I tell people this all the time, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but the gun laws, it's like bleach. It's good for the whites and bad for the color. I love everybody. I don't care what race you are, but it's a proven fact. And actually, they just did something in Texas. We all saw what happened. We all heard about the shooting in Walmart, which was devastating. Yeah. However, Texas is now going to be more lackadaisical on their laws. Yeah. With gun laws, it's actually places you can't go. You can't go in hospitals, you can't go in schools, you can't go in certain stores, you can't go in certain places with police officials, even if you're a concealed carry. Texas is now releasing that to say you can have your concealed loaded firearm on you wherever you are. Again, I think what people have to understand, and this is a very touchy situation, and I want everybody to hear this next point. If you go somewhere, right, and a person is saying, I'm going to commit a mass shooting, do you think they honestly would do it if they knew that more people would return fire? No. Look at the statistics in Virginia. Virginia is a open carry state, meaning you can see it on your waist, but it's, or it can be concealed, but Virginia's an open carry state. Virginia's also Commonwealth. Look at Virginia's crime rate to Maryland's, let's just say, their neighbor. Right. What I'm saying is, do I think that more people being armed could work? Possibly. Assault rifles, AR-15s, AK-47s, no one needs those. Those are military style
War
guns. Those are war guns.
100%.
I feel like you need to have some type of active military something, police something to have those guns, and then even still, where are you really going to conceal that at? Right. But then you have to ask, where are these young boys, where are these young girls? And I know some girls who, roll like that. Where are they getting these guns from?
Well, I mean, of course we know they're being smuggled.
Yeah.
That's a given fact. But however, I do feel as though, and I get your point of view, but I do feel as though having a concealed weapon and you bring that to certain environments and people knowing that creates more of a hostile environment. So that's one avenue to look at it. However, I think that when you're talking about implementing laws, I think that maybe they should go harder on making more stricter jail sentences. So that'll have people to think twice before they want to go and commit a crime, that now this is what you're facing and this is what you got to do.
I don't think that.
Yeah, I don't think
That's not. I mean, they've already done that. That already has happened. So I don't think that would work. I agree with you. If I plan to kill myself and everybody in the store, I'm going to think twice when if I know people are armed and somebody might shoot back at me.
Right.
I'm going to think twice, and I agree with that. But I mean, I really don't think
this is where everybody has to do
anything. People don't care about that.
This is where everybody has to do their reading. Yeah. We have people in jail right now for nonviolent crimes who are doing more time than people with firearms.
Yeah.
What people need to understand is until we really fix the system, let's say the jail system, it will not work in our favor for these type of criminals, because why they're getting so much money off of putting other people away.
Well, nothing is not going to work because the laws is not for us anyway.
It's not going to work for our people who fight the prison.
So here's another reason why I became a firearms instructor. Do any one of you all at this table really know the laws with concealed carry or firearms and stuff, period?
No.
I know.
If you all knew more of the laws and what you could do safely, it would make you feel a little better.
Right.
Why in our communities do we have conversations with our kids about don't let anybody touch you, come tell me. Don't let a bully you, come tell me. We're going to have a conversation about sex. But we see all of these things on the news and we fear for our kids, but how many of you all really are having conversations with your kids? I have women who come to my classes who could get their license and say, well, I don't want it, but I need to be able to educate my kids. Could you look at the scenario if your child was in school and another child got their parent's gun and came to school and said, look at this? Your child might think it's fun and games in Fortnite. Would your child know to get their face from in front of the muzzle? Right. At the end of the day, all I'm saying is, sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. Most people don't know that Martin Luther King thought that somebody was coming after him, okay? He applied for a concealed carry and they denied him because, again, Negroes at that time, and that's what they were called Negroes, they were denied. Everybody stands with his principle. Everybody stands with his fight. We still are seeing ramifications of what that man tried to do, and I stand with him with what he was trying to do to bring everybody together. But at the end of the day, he was against violence, but he was for personal self-protection and defense. Okay, in Maryland, they have laws called the Castle Doctrine and then duty to retreat. Okay, the Castle Doctrine pretty much says you have a right, okay? You have a right to use deadly force in your home. If you feel as though somebody has the intent to do deadly harm to you, right? You have the right to do that. But the duty to retreat on the back end says if they say, well, we're going to put you in front of the court, we need you to explain why you killed this man coming in your house. If they can come up with other ways and things that they thought you could have did or should have did in that situation that you would have been able to get out safely, you will do time. Now, having a license does not mean if something goes wrong, you will not do time. However, I tell people, and I stress this, that could be the difference of you protecting your family or yourself or whatever, or your house, everything you work hard for. That could be the difference of you getting anywhere from 2 to 20 years. And I'm not going to hold you. When it comes to my kids, my family, I'll get 2
I'm
years
going to protect.
with a blink of an eye.
No questions asked. Of course.
But in the state of Maryland, there is no self-defense law, right? It's no such thing
The
as
Castle
self-defense.
Doctrine really is what we have.
That's
and
all.
again, I want everybody to go look that up. And it's called the Castle Doctrine Law. Again, with that, you'll see a lot of stuff that'll come behind it, and it's the duty to retreat.
Y'all make sure you know.
Maryland does say that you can protect yourself and use deadly force in your office, meaning somewhere where you're scheduled and you know that you're going to be there, where in your house or in your vehicle. But then we think like it's not that easy to just kill someone.
Right.
You know, a lot of these young boys are doing stuff because the community and the bullying and stuff, essentially they're getting bullied on the back end. Neighborhood to neighborhood. That's a bullying mechanism.
Yeah.
And they're scared to show their face because, again, if you don't do something, you will not be able to live comfortably, and you already living in low poverty areas.
Right.
A lot of people are not teaching these young boys, you know, they don't have no big home.
Right.
It's up to us, right?
To educate.
And a lot of them don't even know how to shoot a gun.
They
They
don't know how to aim.
Let me tell
They're
you,
not educated.
killing kids is never probably their objective. Unless we see the clear evidence.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what they're doing. They're scared. A scared person will bust first. Why? We see it with police officers. If a police officer has a license and when something goes wrong, we call them, right? And we say something's going wrong, but then in the same sentence, we don't trust them because they're doing stuff. Where do we stand with that?
Exactly.
Because if something happened, I'm going to call the police because I feel like they're going to protect me, but then on the back end, if I don't know anything and I'm just trusting when they come, how do I know that they're going to be 100%? When are we going to take some type of our safety plan or our kids or ourselves and just wanting to be okay into our own hands?
That's true.
So with that being said, what do you, in your preference, at what age should I start to educate my children as well as bringing them to the range, educating them on firearms, how to use, when to protect? At what age do you think, okay, this would be more beneficial that they can acquire the knowledge?
It's a great question. I think people want to put an age and a mature. It's really a maturity thing.
Right.
My sons, I have a 9 and an almost 5-year-old. I have 2 boys. They know that mommy has guns in the house. However, they also know part of my safety plan. My kids know what to do. My kids are not interested in firearms, okay? However, my kids know if they see one, what to do, what not to do, to come get me. My kids will not touch it. It's pretty much a maturity thing. When your child is able to retain the information, you don't want them to be scared of it. You don't want it to be a forced thing.
Right.
Because it's a lot of weapons out here. I don't think that kids really know all of what goes on. Someone can walk up to you, and if he's high off K2, just what we see in our area, he'd stab you with a pencil.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really teach your kids what to look out for in people's mannerisms and things. So when they're able to actually understand another thing I tell people, go on YouTube. Your kids are sitting watching YouTube all day long. Go on YouTube and watch and let the kids watch these kids do shooting competitions.
Right.
Let them get a different feel for it before they really say, I don't like it. Because some kids don't even like loud noises.
Right.
But that shouldn't stop you from giving your child the information to know what to do.
Right.
You know, my child one time stuck himself with an EpiPen. Being in the medical field, his heart rate shot up. He had to go to the emergency room. It was a big deal because you take it and your heart doesn't slow down and nobody's around. That could really be detrimental. So again, a lot of stuff is a weapon. I have conversations with my kids and I let them know, and when you're ready, when you're comfortable, when you want to learn more, I'll tell you more. But the basics, they know.
Right. So my question is, because it comes from me, I'm not into firearms and all that, but now with so much going on, I feel like, okay, it's time for me to learn how to protect myself. So with people like me that are afraid or may not be as open, and say I come to your class, how do you make those people that may be a little bit uncomfortable, but they know they need to take a different measure to protect them? Because it's just me and my girls. And my boyfriend works at night sometimes, so it's just me. So I just feel in the back of my head, all right, I may be a little bit afraid, but I know this is the necessary stuff that I need to take to protect mine just in case. Because I can't fight somebody over my hands. So what do you tell people that may be a little bit unsure when they come to about what to do or when they come to your class?
The beauty of me being a firearm instructor, people ask me all the time, I am not military, I am not ex-police, I am not anything where you would have got training. I'm not a security guard, never been a security guard, none of that. I literally wanted to learn and I took the initiative. I started shooting when I was 10 years old. I was first introduced to a firearm when I was 10 years old. My uncle and my fathers have always been couriers. They went to the range. But again, ripping and running in the streets, I saw a lot of stuff. And I'm like, whoa, they told me not to do that. So even being a young hothead, I just learned, like, I really need to know what's what. I'm not looking for my friend to tell me. I need to know what's what. I do vent and shoots. I do practice. And I tell women all the time, you can come practice with me. Right. You can come practice with me. We can sit and we can have these meetings. You can go to the range. But the biggest thing is to start. When you start and you really start to learn the information, you'll be comfortable. Plus, in my class, we do live demonstrations. I have an LSAR gun, and basically it has a light beam on it. So when you're in class, you're getting a feel for what you're doing. You're getting a feel for how it feels in your hands. And again, you'll start to get more comfortable with anything. When I first got behind the wheel of a car, I was terrified. I was out Clinton on Coon Station Road. If y'all know, I had a stinking Lincoln. I remember that car too. I had a stinking Lincoln and it's snowing. And I said, Dad, I got my permit. And he says, come on. And I said, it's snowing. But the fear that I had, and you, people who have been CDL, you know what they tell you in your CDL class is one of the first things they tell you. You are not driving for yourself, you're driving for other people. You're driving to be a defensive driver from whatever could happen around you. You're not only driving to say, well, I'm being safe, I'm good. Right. You are literally, if you're in a lane and someone comes all the way over in the left, are you going to stay in your lane or you're going to veer to the left? You know you're not supposed to be on the left, but you're going to make that maneuver to say, I'm trying to be safe for what you're doing. Yes. That's all it is. I know firearms can be scary. I know it's something that we see that, you know, a lot of people we know, whether it be cousins, everybody got a cousin Pookie, Lil John, you know, everybody is so-called gang and everything. They have made people look crazy at stuff that we really have the same privilege as everybody else. Right. Like right now, I have my concealed weapon on my hip. I am comfortable because I know that I have the training to not shoot anybody. I know it takes time. Right. But I create a safe haven, and I do men, I do women. But I have created a safe haven for especially African American women to really just figure this thing out. I'm literally here for them to do what they need to do. It's important. Mm-hmm. You know, it's important, and it definitely is something that I think we have to stick with. I think it's something that do more research.
Right. And that's one thing I would say, like just speaking from you about, you know, different things. It's like, dang, I really don't know that much. Yeah. You know, you think you know something until you speak to someone that has that experience, that has that background. You're like, oh, I really don't know that much. And a lot of us, you know, in our community don't know enough.
So I have a question. So in PG County, right? If I'm licensed to carry and I carry my gun in my car, I have to have my bullets in the glove compartment, right? And the gun in the trunk. Well, how does that go?
For anybody that ever took my class, we don't say bullet. We say cartridges.
But
that's just I probably said all day. I probably have said the word gun, but for anybody that has took my class, they know I will stop you dead in your tracks. It's firearm. It is not a gun. It's a cartridge. And it's a magazine. It ain't a clip. I still have to stop myself. But Maryland law pretty much says you need to keep it in your trunk. It needs to be separate. Your magazine and your firearm need to be separate. Again, it has to be properly transported. It has to be in a proper case. You know, you have to have your license and things like that. Mm-hmm. And again, let me make this clear for you in Maryland. Mm-hmm. having a concealed carry, you will still not be able to buy a gun. The Maryland law says a concealed carry is just that, for you to conceal.
Right.
In Maryland, in the state of Maryland, in order for you to be able to buy a gun, you need what's called an HQL, which is called a handgun qualification license.
Okay.
A lot of people try to backdoor. They say, well, I don't care about that. If I'm concealed, I can carry it anywhere. You won't be able to buy a firearm. Again, people always want to do the quickest thing.
So concealed to carry. I'll explain that again. You have a concealed to carry, but that doesn't mean you can buy a gun.
In Maryland,
That means I can carry a gun,
you
right?
won't be able to get one. You get a concealed carry, you don't have a firearm. So I tell people, if you
So walk around publicly with it.
so
and
You don't even have it.
you
Can't even get it.
need both licenses. However you want to cut it, however you want to look at it.
Go through the back end first.
So some people go through the back end, but then they have the license and they still have to come back in the state of Maryland
To
to
get
the
the
HQL.
Okay. So how long do you have to wait after that license to carry and then to get the HQL? You don't get what I'm saying? Okay.
As long as you do your qualifying class, so like my class, a person can take my class, and my class is good for 3 years.
Okay.
You can have the class and sit on it and say, I'm gonna wait till I get some money.
Right.
It's 3 components you need for the HQL. Okay. You need your fingerprints, which is you can get them done anywhere. They generally range between $65-$70. Live scan fingerprints. You have to pay an application fee straight to Maryland State Police on their website, and then you have to have a qualifying class. Same thing,
Which would be your class.
which would be my class.
So you just
Right.
Which would be my class.
Absolutely. Y'all see
Shameless plug.
So with your
Shameless
class,
plug.
you can get all.
With my class, you can do all of that. So I do the Maryland HQL. I do the wear and carry, which is what they call it in Maryland. I do the DC concealed carry. Virginia, I'm coming for you. We're branching out. Again, I have somebody on my team who does SPO security. I have somebody that's doing CPR. We do personal safety plans. We do all of that stuff. Because believe it or not, police officers, I get phone calls from them too. They need training. Because guess what? Once they get their license, all they're required to do is to do that one qualifying every so often and shoot this many. And then, okay, you get to keep your shield.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why a lot of them, like you said, a skilled person will shoot first?
Yeah.
Do you think that's why a lot of them? I mean, like,
And some of them just have it just because they need a job.
right.
But look at it. Honestly, the system is so broken. We got these police working 12 and 15-hour shifts.
So they overwork.
Do you see nurses at the hospital who are overworked, but they still come to work? Why? Because the money pushes them.
Right.
It's like you gotta come because we ain't got nobody
Survival
else.
of the fittest.
When do you have time doing 12 and 15 hours back to back to back to back, drinking umpteen cups of coffee to really go practice?
Exactly.
Police officers have state-of-the-art places where they can go practice. They have ranges just for them that's not even open to the public. I can't even go. But when do you have time?
Right.
Yeah.
You want a personal life, right? So again, do police officers have enough mental health stuff where they get checked and stuff regularly? And
I don't think so.
No, they're not. I mean, that's evident.
And again, Maryland state law says the person who has a mental issue, as long as within the last 2 years you've been stable and you've been under a doctor's care, you can have a firearm.
Yeah. That's kind of
That's
rough.
crazy. That's
So,
scary.
what are
Not
the-
rough. That's scary.
What are the key components when we hear about they should pass the universal background checks? What are the key components when they say universal? Like, break that down in terms of what we can understand. What is it that they are checking for?
Pretty much a background check. They're looking for if you have any felonies, if you have any misdemeanors. They're looking to see if you have any mental health issues that's documented. They're looking for things like that. They're looking for violent past, basically. They pretty much run your social security number to see what's attached to that. Again, just because this is where the learning comes in. Again, if you hear universal, just because something is universal, your state still might have stipulations underneath of it
Right.
that you still will have to follow the other laws in place.
Right.
So getting a universal background check is cool, but if your state requires something else to your state, you're still not fully compliant. I think that this is becoming so prevalent. I think that a lot of talk with the NRA and Trump and all of this stuff going on, this isn't Trump's fault. Trump has just gave everybody a platform for them to speak out on something.
Right. I was going to ask you that. So do you think it's the
definitely
guns
the
or do you think it's the people? Do you think it's guns or do you think it's the people? That's the problem.
Not
I can tell you a scenario. Y'all know me. If you go out to the club and my song come on, all y'all know to hype me up. I'm going there. I mean, I'm doing it all. You know. What do you think is happening when they hear these talks? If the way Trump talks about women,
it's definitely a lot of political influence.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's political influence.
He's setting the tone.
You have to understand, as long as they feel like they have a platform to stand on, once one thing slides, that's what's going to keep happening.
So who are y'all speaking for? The people that's doing the mass shootings, or the people in general that's killing? Period.
Everybody that's killing don't have mental health issues. That's just it.
Right. So that's how do you differentiate?
My personal opinion, from the picture that I seen going around on Instagram, the guy who went into the Walmart had on a headset. Okay? To a person who is trained, he knew that it would be loud. He wanted to be calm. He wanted to be focused. Wow. He didn't go in there looking like he was having a bad episode. He was well prepared and had shot before. Did I read that anywhere? No. But in my opinion, you have on a headset. And then this is just, again, my opinion, it was a pretty good headset. It wasn't a cheap headset. He shot before. Okay? He wanted to drown out all the noise. He wanted to drown out whatever he thought he was going to hear. He wanted to focus on his target. Okay? At the end of the day, yes, he's a Trump supporter. I think, and that's a lot of times what we see, and we just like, well, it's a never ending circle. It is. But again, everybody go out and vote. Did everybody, nobody's doing that.
But that's another thing you gotta watch to understand. You have to watch what you put out in this world, what you speak out your mouth, because you never know who's listening.
I mean,
and taking it the wrong way.
Definitely. I mean, his words at this point is true consequences to the things that he's been saying out of his mouth.
So my opinion is we can't just only focus on the white supremacists.
That's what I'm saying, because
in our community, we got one another.
And we're doing that because we need to focus on our economics within our own communities. There's so many broken communities due to
that's what I'm going to ask you. How do you think that will help our community? How do you think this will help our community and stopping the violence within our community? What do you think about that?
If more people were registered and more people were paying attention to these young boys and things like that, a lot of these young boys need mental health and psychiatry. Does that mean if they commit a crime that they were mentally incapacitated? No. How are you going to tell somebody what to do if you don't know? Right. That's it. If you are able to be registered, you will feel comfortable in saying, this looks shifty, I know what's going on. You might can prevent something. Right. People can't tell me if you see a drive-by shooting or something coming or whatever, that not one person didn't see something crazy or see something that could have turned into that. Because everybody's so hush and they're so scared, we need to get out of that. Yeah. I know snitches get stitches and all of that, but
we gotta wait.
It's not.
Our kids are dying.
Right?
Where does the snitching part?
It comes to a cease.
It comes to a cease when it's somebody in your family. Yeah. And that's what because you want people to speak out on a child. Your baby. So, I mean, I really think that, again, this is something that everybody needs to think on. I think that this is something that if it's right for you, cool. But coming to my class, you don't have to just get a license. I'm going to say it again. You don't have to just come for a license. You're coming for education. You went to school to learn how to be able to do your job and to function in the world and know your ABCs and all of that stuff. How are you going to pass judgment when you don't know the law? How are you going to keep looking at these news stories when you don't even know what to do yourself? You could have a boyfriend who is registered, and if he gets pulled over with you or something happens, where's your standpoint as a woman? Why not know what you need to do?
So you also teach children what to know when they get pulled over, or say that it's a quick check by the police, run up on them.
We have the programs, and again, I'm a Maryland instructor, I'm an NRA instructor. We have programs, especially with the NRA, which are good for some things. They have an Eddie Eagle program.
Okay, y'all. So we're going to go ahead. We got to wrap it up. Unfortunately, we got time. We are going to bring back the part 2 for sure. But y'all give it up for Miss Taniece.
Again, flyer, www.prettyshootersfirearms.com, Facebook, Pretty Shooters Firearms, Instagram, Pretty Shooters Firearms. I need you guys to hit this page up, even if it's just for information. This is important for us. This is important to your kids. And this is important to finally do what's right. You don't do nothing crooked at your job, so we're going to fly right all the way through. We want these black men to be safe. We want y'all to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, the pink and purple fly, I teach men, women, it don't matter, children, we do it all. Just give me a shout.
All right, y'all.